Krishna's body lay on the bed, and the pain was excruciating. The right side seemed paralyzed. Light streamed in from the window pane. The glass was dirty and old. Weeks of neglect and cleaning showed. A vague image of snow-clad mountains could be seen, watching over him in silence. The pain had suddenly arrived, almost overnight, and now there was a helpless stillness. The morning hours had passed, and it was an unknown time at midday. He made an attempt to get up. Sharp pain stabbed him in the back, but he sat up and looked around. Everything sat waiting for him: a wooden chair and table, white lamp, dusty kitchen counter. A steel glass over an earthen pitcher, a steel plate, and a few other items that he was barely able to identify. He thought about making tea, but decided against it. Any activity seemed pointless, so he gave in to the pain and lay still again. The usual sea of thoughts in his mind had lost their vigor, and they feebly floated along while he watched his breath ebb and flow. There was a certain stillness within, and his limbs and torso rested on the narrow frame of the bed. Hunger had begun to rise, but the pain was enough for him to stay inert. Slowly the light turned into an orange hue, and the bright rays that had both hurt and soothed him all day had now receded. Dust danced in the colorful rays as jumbled ideas swam in his head. Hunger had now subsided, and a calm emerged by the time the room was dark. He had led an eventful life, traveled and lived around the world, had multiple relationships, experienced a fulfilling family life, gave and received. All this while his mind took a separate journey, almost independent from him. Examining, suffering, searching, finding, and often leading him in directions polar opposites to the flow of his life. Sleep was nowhere near. It would be a long night and a painful one. Outside, the sound of wind rustled in the valley. A gentle stream gushed nearby, and its water hummed a rhythm that distracted his ears. Crickets made a noise that seemed loud as it echoed in the silent valley. A few birds chirped in the trees. Leaves rustled. His shoulder, neck, and lower body on the right side were immobile. His left was ethereal, light, and removed from pain. Strange enough that his body now reflected the condition of his mind, thoughts laden with pain, and an airy consciousness that watched everything from within. The walls click rang in his ears as he kept his mind engaged in the senses to distract himself. His mouth was moist, hands and legs still, upper body stiff, pain sharp, and eyes closed. As his breath rose and fell, the darkness behind his closed eyes led to many colors. This happened often since the spiritual experience at 23. A dark orange gave way to red, then an inner circle of purple appeared that gradually transformed to a deep blue. The blue was an oasis, a resting place of calm. Inside it, there were no thoughts. A void existed, and over time the shade darkened, and it seemed that he was at the edge of a galaxy with stars. The possibility to go inside existed, and he often did, not through a voluntary decision of will, but an inexplicable drift. Often he felt that he was far away from his body and the life on earth. And such disturbance of thought brought him back. The pain intensified. He managed to get up and reach the pitcher for a glass of water. Opening the lid, he saw his reflection. His grown hair and beard reflected back, and the touch of water was cold as he dipped the glass within. A strange feeling came upon him as he stared inside the pitcher. That he was actually the water, and looked at the man reaching in. Back on the bed, he felt his pulse rising. He had high fever. Finally, he took 2 aspirins and let cold water soothe his being.